Hello, my friends. My name is Mel, the Money Coach. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode on my YouTube channel called Mel, the Money Coach. I love to have you here. So this week we're talking about budgeting basics, how to budget, why we budget, and why it's so important. So today we're going to talk about behavior around budgeting, which, as we talked about in the last video, mathematically, budgeting is not difficult. It's just literally income minus expenses. But when we come, to the nitty-gritty of budgeting on a day-to-day basis, transaction to transaction, it can be really, really difficult to stick to your budget, especially when we see some item that we love. We all have our weaknesses, with hobbies and clothing or coffee or whatever it is. There's, the options are endless to spend money these days, especially with online shopping. So, really the important part about budgeting is that it's not a theoretical document. And this is what I found as my husband and I learned how to budget, is that you can write down your plan budget in theory, but you actually have to stick to it. So you have to go back on a daily basis or, multiple times per week and watch the budget, your transactions, everything you spend needs to be factored into the budget. There are no exceptions. Otherwise, it would not be a budget. So what you want to do is you really want to, I can promise you, whatever you're spending on the food category, what you think you're spending on the food category, it's probably double that. So when you're getting the hang of budgeting, it can take 2 or 3 months to really get, good at it and know what exactly it is that you're spending. So it takes a couple of months to sort of see the average and, test things out depending on what the situation is. So the interesting part, I came across this statistic that 93% of millionaires say that they stick to a budget. Now, you might think, well, gosh, if they have $1 million, why the heck do they need a budget? The thing is, they have $1 million because they budgeted, not they're wealthy and then they just quit doing what made them wealthy. So the interesting part is, folks that actually have more money, they still budget. So it's just part of the rhythm of life that we really need to get into if we want to be successful with our finances. And, we'll get more into this later, but, especially if you're married, you get the nerd and the free spirit, and you get all these different dynamics going on when it comes to budgeting. So it can be really helpful to have a coach sit down with you and, go through a budget and tracking expenses. I can certainly help you with that too. And all the different strategies. So although it's mathematically simple, it can be difficult from, a psychology standpoint, a behavior standpoint, to really stick with that budget. So that's where I come in. So I want you to first subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then I'd love to sit down with you, talk with you on the phone, and sign up for a free 15-minute consultation with me. I'd love to see how I could help you and walk side by side with you through this budgeting process. It can be a little clunky when you first start. So until next time, see you then.